Hey, welcome to Thought Leader Live, June edition. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is Chris Pyron, and I'm so glad that you have joined us this evening for tonight's live stream. We've got a couple of amazing guests lined up tonight to talk about all things church production, and super excited to introduce them here in a minute. But before I do that, I want to introduce the man behind the scenes, my partner in crime, the wizard behind the curtain, Mr. Daryl Sutton.
The wizard behind the curtain. I like that. Well, hey, welcome. Super glad to be here. We are in Atlanta, Georgia tonight, Chris.
Hot Atlanta.
Hot. You know what? It hasn't been hot, though.
Not this time. The weather's actually cooperating pretty well and not living up to its namesake.
Right, exactly. So. Almost didn't make my connection flight. But
it was dicey. I was afraid I was going to get here without you.
Yeah, I literally walked in the plane and was doing one of these, and everyone on the plane was not happy to see me as Chris was. But
well, you were the reason that the flight hadn't left yet. So we were all waiting on you.
So we're here, and this is our ninth TL Live event.
9 times. This is wild.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's just nuts that we've done that many of them. Because even right out of the gate, we thought, hey, well, let's try this one time and see what happens.
Yeah, well, some of us didn't want to try it.
One of us didn't want to try it.
Right.
So
yeah.
So it was 3 months ago. We did the last one back in March. We were in Nashville that time. We're in Atlanta this time. You've had a little bit of life happen in the last 3 months here.
Yes, I have.
And do I understand correctly that you get to be a grandpa again, or you are a grandpa again?
Yes, grandpa for the second time.
Congrats.
Easton John was born just about almost 2.5 weeks ago, so we're super excited. His big brother Tate is loving him, and probably that is huge news, but we also have my second oldest son, Kyle. He and his wife, Ellie, are actually giving birth to our first granddaughter. So it's the first, awesome. Yes, the first Sutton born with the last name Sutton in about 48, 49 years. So we're super excited about that.
Awesome. Yeah, Sutton seemed to like to have boys an awful lot, so.
It has happened that way, yes, yes. So anyway, well, let's jump right on in. Thank you for sharing that, Chris. It's very much a blessing, obviously, to be able to see your children become parents, and to become pops is pretty awesome as well. So anyway, tonight, if you're new to Thought Leader live events, it's an AMA-style event. We are here to have conversation. We are here to answer questions. But it is kind of a Q&A. It's an Ask Me Anything type scenario. So we're going to kick off here. I'm going to throw it back to Chris. He's going to introduce who we have, some amazing dudes that are here with us tonight on the event. But if you have questions, make sure you throw it in the chat, and we will get that in the queue and get it up to the guys to respond as soon as possible. So with that, Chris, I'm going to throw it right back to you, buddy.
All right, man. Hey, again, super excited to get to introduce two friends who have decided to join us this evening. Immediately to my left, I have Mr. Will Compton. Will, thank you for being here tonight,
man. Thanks for having me.
So glad you're here. And so you're here in the Atlanta area, and you are at?
Northstar Church in Kennesaw, so northwest Atlanta.
Just north of here.
Yep.
Cool. And just past him, we've got Mr. Ryan Haynes. Glad you're here, dude.
Thanks, dude.
You bet. And you are at?
NewSpring Church.
In?
Anderson, the state of South Carolina. Our broadcast campus is in Anderson,
South Carolina. Great, cool. Well, we're going to dive into all things church production tonight. But before we do that, I want to dive into some personal stuff. So, Will, back to you. Other than being the solver of all problems at Northstar Church, you are married?
Yes, married to Jennifer.
Okay.
Got a son, Liam, and a daughter, Peyton. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
Family back home.
There they are.
Love those guys. So, 10-year-old and a 5-year-old, and Jen and I have been married for 15 years this year.
Awesome. Congrats. 15 years. Very cool. So you haven't sat down in 10 years then, chasing kids around all the time, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, married to my wife, Anna. Been married 10 years in April. Just passed it, and have a 4-year-old, well, almost 4. She turns 4 Wednesday.
Coming up just a couple days here. Cool.
Little girl named Reagan.
Very fun. Cool. All right, so when we're not at the church and we're not solving all the technical problems of the church production world, what do you like to do in your free time? What hobbies do you have?
Man, like to barbecue when we can. I got a lot of frozen meat in the fridge right now. We're got to get it out to thaw it out. Coming up for the summer.
Doing the Lord's work. I like it.
Love fishing.
Okay.
Don't get to do it much anymore, but like going fishing. Grew up doing a lot of fishing. I'm from Georgia, so grew up in Covington, Georgia,
Okay.
rural town. Church I grew up in is in Rutledge, Georgia, which is even smaller rural town. So a lot of ponds in the church that I grew up with. People who went to that church got to fish in a lot.
Nice.
So.
Bass fishing or?
Oh yeah, bass fishing, brim, catfish.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I just have to say that last night you actually shared with us that you sold the boat to buy the smoker.
Did yeah, yeah. That's
right.
I did.
We have
I
to
did
do
sell
that
a boat to
sometimes,
buy
right?
a smoker. So
That's right.
gotta choose what your passion is in the moment. I
I
guess.
understand that.
There you go. There you go. Ryan, what about you? What do you like to? I know you have a 4-year-old daughter, so you don't have a ton of free time. But in the free time you do have, what do you like to do?
Oh, I think right now it's probably golf. If I get the time, I love to go golf. I love to just work on projects too. So always tinkering in the garage with something. But golf is my last hobby of last like 5-6 years probably.
Cool. What's your favorite course you've ever played?
Ooh, probably Grand Cypress.
Grand Cypress.
It's in Florida, right near Disney.
Okay. Cool. Central Florida there. Nice.
I don't know Florida.
Disney's in the central part of Florida. Yeah. It's a really long state.
Yeah.
It's one of the few states you can drive 8 hours and still be in the same state,
Yeah.
and not actually get out of it. So, well, very cool. It's cool. So, Will, you had you said that you love the smoking and all things barbecue. What's your favorite thing to make?
Baby back ribs, man.
Baby back ribs.
Yeah, love smoking baby back ribs.
You do 3-2-1 on them? What's your process?
Probably use about 4 hours. I don't do 3-2-1 too much. I like cooking hot and fast.
Okay.
So 275. I got an insulated smoker, so it's easier to kind of get them and push them through without it getting too dry. So
Okay. Take notes. 275. That's Will's magic number there. So
do wrap them though. I am a fan of the wrap, foil wrap. So
okay. Very cool.
little apple juice, little brown sugar in there, butter.
Ooh, yeah. Let them get
nice.
happy.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Real quick, on that topic, Brother Sean is in the text or is in the chat, and he actually asked Will, "What kind of smoker do you have?" So since we're on the topic, that
there we go.
probably
Yeah, I'll give
There's
him
our
a shout
first
out.
question of the night.
There you
Yeah,
go.
The company's south of Atlanta, Warner Robins area, is a company called Stump Smokers. They kind of made their name in the competition barbecue. I never actually did a competition myself. I did cook with some buddies of mine a few times, but yeah, they make really, really good smokers. Stumps Smokers. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So.
Very nice. So at Northstar, let's just keep rolling with you here for now, Ryan. I promise we're coming back to your end of the world here. Tell us a little bit about your role. What do you do at Northstar?
Yeah, I'm the technical director there. Okay. So I oversee pretty much all the AVL systems on site. We've got 2 auditoriums that kind of run tandem on Sundays with a time slip in our secondary auditorium. And that's a different service. It's more acoustic style worship. And then we got a contemporary service happens in our main auditorium. And then simultaneously, there's 3 smaller kids auditoriums and 2 student auditoriums that run at the same time. So I do a lot of maintenance on those areas and keeping those running.
So you have 7 venues running at the same time?
7 venues running
on the same campus?
On the same campus on Sunday. So
wow.
So yeah, I do that, and then I lead our adult production teams, and just get to make church happen with those guys. And they kill it every week. So.
Yeah, you got a great team there.
Yeah.
So very cool. Ryan, what about you? Tell me a little bit about your role at NewSpring.
Yeah, so I'm the production director, which basically means I get to, very similar to you, I get to oversee all the AVL aspects of our church, including the gathering. So that's one way that we break it out. And I oversee the execution of the gathering. And by I do, I mean I lead an incredible team who does it. Okay. I just am the talking piece.
You're just directing from behind the scenes to make sure it all happens. Now, how long have you been at NewSpring? You've been there a while, haven't you?
Yeah, so I'll be there 14 years in November on staff.
Okay.
We started attending NewSpring in 2004 is when we really started getting regular. So I was in 4th grade.
Okay, so you've been around there a while.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Seen all of it. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Well, how long have you been at Northstar?
10 years in August.
10 years this summer. Very fun. Nice. Cool. So so you said that you lead the adult production team.
Yeah, so we have, those are the volunteers that I personally manage.
Okay.
We have a student ministry production guy, and he kind of oversees his crew of people. And the way that our church kind of works is the students serve in those areas. We don't have many adults actually serving in those production roles for the kids' environments and the student environments. The kids actually do it, and the students do it. Now, in the children environments, there are some older folks because, I mean, a preschooler is not going to run ProPresenter. I mean, I guess they could.
Not well anyway.
So, but we do have fourth and fifth graders that do. And my son Liam, he's 10. I mean, he serves in our preschool auditorium. He'll serve in his age group auditorium. So, and that's the same in kids, in student ministry, college ministry, and then I'm leading adults. So there's the kids leaders. They handle their volunteers, and I help kind of maintain the systems. And if things aren't working, I'll fix them for them, help make them better.
Okay.
Same for students. And our college ministry uses our main auditorium, so I'm already got a lot of hands in that. So
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So do you guys have you seen a benefit in that training up the students in their own areas? Is that kind of equipping them then to be able to help in big church as they get older?
It started to. It's taken a while, but since we've hired that full-time student ministry production guy and having him help shepherd some of those younger kids, we're now seeing some of them move through college. And then, college is a little weird. Some of them go off, and so they're not around.
Sure. Yeah.
But there are some that we're seeing this semester that are sticking around and going to school locally, and are starting to get plugged in the college ministry. And those kids are great. Those kids are killing it. So
Awesome.
I'm hoping to kind of get them to move up into the adult stuff. And some of those college kids are serving on Sundays because our college ministry meets on Tuesday nights. So.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have an opportunity to serve then.
Yeah.
Cool. Ryan, do you guys have something similar at NewSpring the way?
Yeah, so our kids ministry, Kids Spring, typically, they do a full production, and a lot of our volunteers start there, kind of the same age, around fifth grade, all that. And then one of our campuses is actually doing a developmental production team. So we have like a developmental band that worship does, and they just kind of announce it at Fuse, which is our youth ministry, and they do semesters and come in and do developmental days, and then at the end they'll do like a big worship night, and everybody will come and support them and all that. And then our Clemson campus just started a developmental production crew, and it's kind of doing the same thing, like a bunch of Fuse students who are learning production, so 6th grade to 12th grade for us, and they've got a night picked out. They're going to run all of the production for the service
Very cool.
coming
That's
up,
awesome.
which is really cool. Yeah, I'm excited to go and see how they're doing. And Brady's just doing a phenomenal job over there, training them and coming up with stuff like that.
That's really cool. I love that there's that intentional development path for folks to find a spot to get plugged in like that. That's really awesome. I think a lot of churches could take some notes from that to figure out those intentional pathways for folks to gain those skills to be able to come into production a little bit more. So that's really, really great to hear. So tonight's theme or tonight's title of the live stream is from in-room to online. And you guys both have fairly significant online production stuff happening, for your live stream and all that sort of stuff. So I kind of want to start the first part of the talk, talking with you guys about how do you balance, let's start here. How do you balance in-room versus broadcast and online? Is there one that takes precedent, or are they equally important? And then how do you strike the balance between the two? Because lighting needs to be a certain way for the right feel in the room, but does that work for video? Video needs more, video needs less. So how do you guys balance that?
Yeah. So I think at NewSpring, we've gone back and forth. Like at one point, we had a complete B control room. We had all dedicated graphics, computers, switchers, everything for it. But we kind of scaled back from that. And now we definitely give priority to the room. But we do a lot of like small intentionalities for the web. So about 4 times a year, typically around like Easter, Christmas, going into summer, we'll do a live web host, like hit is what we call it. And it'll be 3 or 4 weeks where we introduce the moderators who are are sitting in the live chat every week and praying for people over YouTube and all that.
That's cool.
Just to like put a face with the name that pops up, which is one way that we really lean in and get engagement from that. Because our end goal is to get people to the building. That's what we believe. We think that there's something tangible when you get in a room with believers and you're together worshiping the Lord. But we also understand that people can't always make it there, or they're out of town, or whatever it is coming up that creates that reason they're having to watch online. So a couple of things we do is we have a different company that we outsource to mix our web. That's something that we used to do in-house and contract out, and we just found a high value in using AudioLink to come in and mix our services for us.
Okay.
And it just, they understand how YouTube's compression works and all that, and lowering the floor and everything that really gives you that good quality sound. Mm-hmm. And then for our camera shots, we don't double cut right now unless we're doing those live hits, and we just say all of our intentionality is going to be to the room, but we kind of cut in a very mid of the road way. Like we still do wide camera sweeping shots through the back of the room and stuff like that. We just are very light when we do them. Okay. So kind of trying to find that middle range in that. Because we have a decent amount of people who watch online, so we definitely want to serve that those people well. Right. But we also have, with being a broadcast church, we have so many locations that are in person that we are really feel like that's where the Lord's called us to put all of our intentionality right now.
Sure. So you're only doing one cut for iMags and for stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
And very rarely we'll split it off. I mean, I think the goal would be for us to get back there to doing a double cut, maybe not a full double cut, but being able to drop in some of those extra crowd shots and engagement pieces. Mm-hmm. But right now, we're really staying focused on our iMag shot.
What's happening in room? Cool.
Yeah.
What about at Northstar, Will?
Yeah, so or similar. Our intentions are for the online viewer to have a really good experience. Quality, look, sound. But the ultimate goal is this is a portal to what we're experiencing. So we want to make that experience good for that person. I even task our camera ops with find shots that make you feel like you're sitting here. But what we want ultimately is that person to end up on campus.
Sure.
Because they can probably have the most connection point here. So it's similar. We don't do a separate cut for online. It's the same cut. We will mix in a couple added things. We have the ability to separate it. But I do have a specific online, we call it online video director. He's not directing anything. He's mostly monitoring records, monitoring stream. But then he's got a switcher panel there that he can run macros and stuff on, where we can, if we need to take something separate, we can.
Okay.
But a lot of times it's just, we'll do like song title overlays and things that we can do to kind of elevate the experience online or give more information. Specific copyright stuff. We don't need that necessarily go into the iMag into the room, but we want to make sure it gets out on the records and on live streams and stuff like that. Just some targeted specific things for that. We tried the host thing back in like 2017, and wasn't super successful for us from an engagement standpoint. And then even when COVID came around, we never went back to actually doing that. So even through COVID, we just still presented our service. Now, granted, we adjusted our camera plot.
Sure.
We made it a little bit more intentional on how the presenters spoke to the camera.
Right.
But it wasn't ever like a online separate experience. So it's still always been about, this is who we are. We want you to come and experience this. And we have views from all over the country. And a lot of those are people that are out of town.
Sure.
Our core base is, they could drive to the church. If you look at the analytics, they could be there.
They're close
so
enough.
So it's people that are watching that may, come once a month, or they're sick and they just want to stay home that day, or, But we just want to make that experience great, because in our day and age, that stuff lives on forever. Our primary, we stream with Resi, we stream to YouTube, but we use YouTube as our primary like library.
Sure.
We don't host it anywhere really else other than that. So we want to make sure that that final product that lives on is good, and that we get it executed in that moment, and we don't have to go back and recreate it.
Right.
So,
Or have to go back and do a bunch of post edits.
One thing that we've been like finding recently and really using this language is really, you kind of hinted on it. I think used to the church's front door was the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
The first time they experienced anything to do with your church was when they pulled into the parking lot.
Yeah.
But now, most of the people I talk to who are new to NewSpring or their first time coming, they watched 3 or 4 times online, or
they're
they
gonna check
watched
you
a couple
out.
of churches. So when we do a lot of the online hosting, and as we try to lean to that like side, we're trying to keep it super guest focused. So these are people who are like checking us out. They're not connected yet. We want to get them connected. We have an ADP, which is like a pipeline that we're trying to take adults down through, the adult discipleship pipeline.
Okay.
And that category of guest is people who are not quite members of our church or connected in any other way other than they just come on a Sunday. And that's where we're really saying, okay, how do we engage the guest? Because so many people are watching us online first before they even step foot in the building. And one of the ways we do that is different counters. I talked about the host, things like that, but just like that are super specific of, hey, here's how you can come and here's how you can get involved to take them from guest to connected.
To being a connected member of the church, part of the body. That's really great. Very cool. Well, I hear that we have a question stacked up in the chat over there. Daryl, what do we have over there,
Yeah,
sir?
we do. And it's very much, I think, in line with where we're at. So I didn't want us to go too much further down the road. Let's see here. Clay Rains, thanks how you say it. 1768 says, production is expensive, especially in broadcast. How do you best explain it to people that give hard time towards the cost?
How do you explain the cost of broadcast equipment and such to people who give it a hard time?
I would take that as how do I explain this to my leadership if they're giving me a hard time about how much this costs?
How do you talk to the finance team about
or maybe even a congregant?
Even if somebody in the church? Yeah.
Good question.
Well, I have. when I got to Northstar, I made it very very intentional to build a relationship with our business administrator, our IT guy, a guy who's doing a bunch of events that I got to help support, and make sure that they trusted my opinion and that a lot comes with that. I'm not trying to get the flashiest thing. I want to make sure that something's going to fit our needs, but that we're being a good steward of it. So, first is a relationship. You got to have a relationship, and they got to trust that you're not just trying to spend a lot of money. Yes, it can cost a lot. But there are options that don't.
Sure.
I mean, with the stuff we're doing stuff here, it's not super expensive.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I mean, I think I would, I agree with that and just double down on the cost of streaming has come down so much that it's not as far-fetched as it used to be. Now, when you're digging in, trying to get a really quality stream for whatever reason, it comes in that, you're building equity with your lead team, you're building equity with your elders of the church. One of the analogies I use is you're getting change in your pocket. And this is something I stole from someone, one of my leaders back in the day, of like, we have to build equity, relational equity with everyone around us. We're collecting change in our pocket because we're going to need to spend that. Like there's going to come a time, especially in our world, that we have to walk up and say, hey, that $10,000 camera broke. We need to buy a new one. And it's a dangerous place as a leader to be standing in front of someone that you need with no equity, with no change in your pocket, right? But I think my encouragement to people who are trying to start out and everything is you don't have to start out with all the bells and whistles. You can take a matrix off, you can take an output off your console. You can get one camera that is just a lockdown, and you can start because it's worth the shepherding. The cost is worth what you're giving to people to give access to your church.
Well, to create that front door, that window into what a worship service looks like at NewSpring or at Northstar, which is what you guys both kind of talked about. That's a big piece of the live stream for y'all. And it's a very hard conversation for sure, because next to the building itself, the next most expensive thing in the church is the production system. You know, when you look at all of those pieces, parts, and I think it's really tough for some of the admins and finance folks to understand like what the actual cost of some of these things are. And like you mentioned, Will, what we're pulling off tonight, we're using good gear, but we're definitely not using like top of the line. Everything's all over the place, right? But to know that there is a spectrum too, and it's like, okay, somewhere on the spectrum, there's the piece of gear that meets our needs. It does everything we need it to do with growth potential, but it's also a good investment from a stewardship standpoint. And we're not just going and buying the biggest, baddest, bestest thing that we're never going to even grow into, let alone outgrow. And so I think giving options, like helping them see what that spectrum looks like. It's like, yes, here's a Blackmagic, ATEM Extreme switcher here, and here's the biggest, baddest thing that Sony, Grass Valley, Ross, whomever has, and all the things in between. And somewhere here in the middle ground is probably where we need to land, is a conversation that I had with some of my leadership when I was back in church ministry years ago. So.
And I would say that it's not an all or nothing thing. You've got to be okay with the baby steps. And so it may be as simple as, okay, it's a single camera shot, but we're going to focus on making the audio mix good, because if someone comes to view, they will sit on a live stream that may not look as good, but if it sounds not great, they're going to drop off faster.
People will tolerate questionable video longer than they'll tolerate bad audio. For sure.
So like find the weak point and focus on that, and then maybe next year you can step up to a second camera, or you just take it in time. So.
Fellas, I got to jump in real quick.
Go for it.
Because I think you guys are actually reading some of the comments that are coming in. Legitimately, Clay's got another question, so I'm going to pop it up here. He also says, and maybe we can speak a little bit more specifically to this, also, what are ways that you shifted to minimizing the cost through things such as stream decks? So I think he's probably asking for a friend, because I'm sure Clay's not having to deal with this personally.
I'm sure not,
none of us have. Right. But, it sounds like, so as you get into this, what are ways that you can minimize? And I think you're talking to that, Will, right now a little bit, like really focusing in on the right things to invest in first. But maybe what's your experience been on that? Or I just didn't want to ignore Clay on this one, because it was a great follow-up.
I don't necessarily think a stream deck may necessarily be minimizing your cost. I look at it more as a tool to allow you to do complex things simplistically. It's built around macros, right? And it can control pretty much anything that has an Ethernet jack on it in the production world. So how can I use that as a tool to accomplish an advanced set of things that I need 8 hands for, but I only have 2? What's your thoughts?
I think there's way, I guess the first way I think of is going back to when we had 2 studios. So that's 2 panels, 2 surfaces. Maybe they're pulling from the same brain, maybe they're not.
Yeah.
But with a stream deck, you could set up a monitor in a room beside your A control, and you don't have to buy another panel.
Yeah.
You can just
don't have to buy your first panel.
Yeah, right. You don't have to buy the first panel. Yeah. So I think that. Yeah, they're incredible tools. It goes back to the just belief that the world is getting cheaper in production. It sounds counterproductive, and the high end stuff, of course, is still going up. But there is becoming more and more ways with video over NDI and all these other tools that are coming out. These protocols that can allow, specifically in a lot of churches when they're first getting onto live stream, it's just one person. So, the guy's running front of house, he's running lights, he's running audio, everything. And now at front of house, he can't also double cut. But then you take a stream deck, or even if you're just buying an extra panel instead of 2 brains, and you're leveraging, your extra MEs or your aux outputs or anything, especially if you're just doing one camera. I think, one thing at NewSpring, we'll build stream decks to control our routers if we need to, in like different scenarios. So we're making our switcher do a lot more, or we're not making our switcher do more. We're taking weight off of it that we would normally need a lot bigger switcher because we're leveraging the router to do small things, little things like that. So.
Right. Or in a scenario where, like you're talking about, buying panels, maybe you need a panel, maybe you don't. Maybe you can get away with a smaller panel that doesn't necessarily have as many preview buses or buttons or custom control layers or whatever available to your fingertips, because you can then map those over to a $250 stream deck and rock and roll with that.
That was a great point, because we actually did that in 2017 when we expanded our online to do testing that host thing, and we did a separate switcher, but I didn't get a panel for it.
Oh.
I got a stream deck for it.
Okay.
I forgot. So we did actually do that.
So you were switching off a stream deck.
Yeah.
For it. Cool. Very cool. Awesome. Well, guys, this has been great. Let's take a quick break so we can grab some coffee, some more water, and that kind of stuff, and we'll come back and just keep the conversation going. So, Daryl, I'm going to throw it back over to you, my friend.
All right. So, first off, Brother Sean, I saw your comment. Unfortunately, when it came in regarding philosophy of online and in the room, they had already moved to that. So, it's interesting how the comments that are coming in or the questions coming in and what they're already leaning into is just lining right up tonight. So if you have questions, make sure you are throwing them in the chat. We are going to take just a little bit of a break, and I want to talk about specifically to those of you that may not know what Thought Leader is or what it's about. About 9 or 10 years ago, we started a conversation with the church production community that is all about uniting people together, building community, sharing ideas, working through fun times together, maybe talking through some struggles as well. Check out our website. It's tl-connect.com. I could sit here and ramble for the next 45 minutes about this, but instead, yeah, Chris, you know that.
Your opener's 20.
But instead, let's go ahead and roll this package of some of our guys that are part of the network and let them share with you what their experiences are through Thought Leader.
Mentor circles are happening now.
Thought Leader Mentor Circles is the place for church production folks to come together. A space where we talk tech, share real stories, and grow, not just in skill, but in community. Let's be honest, production has its own rhythm, its own late nights, early mornings, and moments only we really understand.
Mentor circles gives you a place to connect, be encouraged, and realize you don't have to navigate church production life alone. Circles are built around conversation. No lectures, just real people sharing real challenges, real wins, and real experiences.
It's a chance to meet others who genuinely get the road you're walking. It's free to join. The only cost is a smidge of your time and your willingness to contribute.
Circles are open now, so grab your spot, pull up a chair, and jump in.
There's a place for you here. Thought Leader Mentor Circles. See you in the circles.
How can I lead others into creativity while pursuing excellence, but doing it from a place of security in who I know I am in God and what He's called me to be? So we get to host the conference at Municipal Auditorium in Nashville. While we are given the opportunity to steward production, it's never the main thing. The heart of the house from the top down is encounter over entertainment. No matter what we get to do, it always comes back to that. It's not because of what we did, it's because of the space we made for people to encounter God. We just also happen to get to do some really cool stuff while we're here. I spend a lot of time in production design. I work with Luke, our lighting and visuals designer. We come up with the stage design. I pretty much bring an idea to him. He draws it. We bring it to life together. He begins the creative process on bringing the design to life. I then step into the production management role where I solve the logistics, figure out how we're going to pull it off, work with the production companies, and then once we land on the week of conference, that all collides and we get to see everything come to life.
I get a lot of vision and clarity from Andy, my production manager, and Henry, our lead pastor. They're very big on casting vision. They care a lot about details. And I think a lot of times, rather than always being like, yeah, I want to be on the front end of whatever this design is, a lot of times I try to take a back seat and go, okay, what is the vision that they're casting, and how can I add in the detail and add in what I bring?
The theme this year is life in color, and it's all about how the mysteries of God are being revealed to you, the attendee, in full color. All of the branding, all of the creative ideas had this kind of cube. It was a white square on the floor and two drapes that were hand painted. So when Luke and I got together and really started going back and forth on design ideas, and we ended up with where we're at now with the two large back walls and a reflective floor that would pair well. If we could pull off these LED pods, it would kind of give this extra dimension of like things coming to life over the stage. And that's where we ended up with on the design.
This year, we very heavily felt that automation needs to be like a non-negotiable, no matter what, like this has to happen. Automation itself is causing us to go, well, we don't need to do this much in lighting. We can really take a step back.
We're all Chauvet, and that's not just for the sake of this. Like, we actually really love the products. It's really easy to hit our budget goals with Chauvet, but we don't have to sacrifice any of the quality. We're using the Strike M's a lot for recording this year. We really wanted a unique look for the crowd, so we ended up lining the bowl of Municipal with Strike M's to give the cameras something really interesting to see when they shoot back at the audience.
Its real use is to accentuate the box that is essentially that original design concept from the design of the entire conference. It's a workhorse fixture. It's amazing. Like, there's a reason why people use it everywhere.
We also lined where the roof and the back wall meet all the way around the room with outcasts to give us a nice beam effect above the Strike M's, so we have good texture and layer on the crowd. In terms of front light, which for us is extremely important for recording, we went with the Storm 4s. We get excellent output, great CRI and color mixing for camera, in addition to being able to really shape them down well for the stage. One thing we were super pumped about this year was getting to try the bolts. Luke and I were at the Thought Leader Retreat, and we were talking with the guys, and we got to demo the bolt, and we realized, well, we might as well not waste a really nice blow-through wall. How could we incorporate something like this? And the bolt honestly fits the bill really well.
We were blown away by it. I love the frost effect that it has. I think that it was a conversation that we had with a fellow designer that was like, if it's vanished, you have to put something back there. And we were like, well, let's put the bolts back there. It's a great marriage of the design. I think it's just another element that's like, oh, I didn't know something was back there. I think that's so cool.
So we've been extremely pleased. I think this is our 4th or 5th year in a row using mostly Chauvet fixtures, and we've never been disappointed. Find people to bring alongside you that you see something special in them, and be willing to let go and trust them to maybe take it further than you. Trusting Luke to be better than I was has been such an area of growth. And if I can encourage anyone watching this, don't be afraid to let the next person be better than you. Lead with an open hand, create with an open hand, because if you're doing it for God and not for man, then you're not going to care what happens with it, because it's really just an act of worship.
Jump in, both feet. You're not going to be disappointed. It's a group of other individuals just like yourself.
If I had a friend considering joining Thought Leader, I would really ask them why they're stuck at the considering point.
Thought Leader is a tribe of people who are passionate about leading well.
The one thing that I value about my experience so far with Thought Leader is intentional relationships and conversations with people who are going through the same struggles I'm going through, that we can share how to get through things together and grow together.
It's a really amazing opportunity to meet like-minded people who really care, and we're all going after the same thing, to have people be impacted.
Thought Leader to me would be community and just like a resource.
What I value most about being in Thought Leader is really the consistent community.
Thought Leaders has impacted my leadership style by being able to learn from others how to be a healthy leader so that I can lead our team in a healthy way.
I have learned to think about the people first, gear second. If the people are good, if the people are pastored well and stewarded well, everything else will fall into place.
If you value your health as a leader and your team and the way that they grow, to take the time that it takes to invest in these relationships is so worth it.
Beforehand, I might have tunnel vision, blinders on, you could say, from just things that I maybe wasn't able to connect with for various reasons, but hearing it from other leaders, having those conversations back and forth has opened up my view and allowed me to correct some things in my own ministry that has really taken it to the next level.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Being in this group, being in this community has definitely shaped the trajectory of how I operate.
All Thought Leaders does is bring that potential to the surface. It helps you grow more and more, and it's free, so why wouldn't you do it? You have nothing to lose.
If I had one word to describe Thought Leader with, it would be community.
Life-giving.
Community.
It's encouraging.
Intentional.
Community.
Trusting.
Engaging.
I'm going to give you 3 words: church, production, family.
So the real question is, who is Thought Leader for? If you serve in church production community, whether you're staff, whether you're volunteer, perfect. That's who Thought Leader is for. Check out our website. It's tl-connect.com. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Would love to have you come join the conversation, jump into a mentor circle, and get connected with people that do what you do at different churches all around the world. And so with that, we took a little break here. We got Will's medication, and so he's ready to go again. And we have some questions stacked up. So I will just go ahead and reiterate, if you're new to watching, this is kind of an AMA style, ask me anything type scenario. So the more questions, if you have questions for the guys that are here, throw it in the chat. We'll put it in the queue, and we'll try to get it while we're still live on air for them to read and respond to, and kind of give you some of their experiences and maybe help you out just a little bit. So, Brother Bailey in California, hopefully he's not riding his motorcycle down the 101 right now as he's watching, or hopefully if he is, he's listening as he's done in the past. But he's got a great question here, and we kind of hit on it a little bit earlier, but I wanted to throw it up. It says, what are your thoughts on live streaming the whole service versus only the message? If you've been streaming whole service and leadership is thinking about reducing the stream because.
Maybe he ran out of characters for his comment.
Maybe. And I forgot to unmute.
It's all good. It's all good.
I forgot to unmute.
It happens. So live streaming the whole service versus only the message. You guys stream the whole service, right? At both of your places?
We do, yeah.
Same at NewSpring. I wonder, I know I've seen some churches, Bailey, that do archiving. Like you're talking about, you guys use YouTube as your archive for your library of stuff. I know that some places will trim out just the message in the middle, just the sermon piece, and let that live on. Maybe it's a music licensing thing or something like that. But
yeah, we haven't really talked about that at our ministry. We do trim out the message to live in our app. So if people want to view it in the app,
okay,
that's the only piece that lives in there going forward because it's really just branded as series. But on YouTube, it's the whole service that stays out there.
Okay. That way nobody's having to fast forward through the first 20 minutes of music to get to the message.
And I think one thing we tried to do is they'll go in and put markers in. So I could be wrong about that. I don't personally do that, but you can mark it in YouTube inside of the just the description.
Oh, sure, you do chapters in there, yeah.
And then do a chapter for the message. So if someone goes to that video and they just want to jump to the message,
they just pop right
hover
to it.
and they can pop right to it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a request out.
Okay.
And my request, I consume a lot of services that are not live. And so I would like to be able to consume the worship side of it as well. So, if you're just doing the message, I understand that. But I'll just say that, like, it kind of drives me a little crazy when I go to watch a service and I don't get the full experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. That's just my opinion. I'm sharing it. So all of you watching, think about that. There might be people that have the same feeling. Maybe I'm on that island by myself.
I like going back and snooping on my friends from a weekend, for whatever reason. Maybe I wasn't able to snoop on them on Sunday morning because by the time we get into second service at my church, I've been through this before. And so usually during the 10:30 hour, once the sermon starts, I've heard him do this already. So I'll pop my laptop out and jump on YouTube and live streams and go snoop on all my friends, all over the place and see, what's Will doing, what's Ryan doing, what's this church doing, what's that church doing.
And maybe that's why I'm doing it, honestly. I don't know. Maybe that's why I miss it.
Just want to keep up with everybody.
Right, exactly.
So cool. Daryl, we got another one stacked up there, don't we?
Yes, we do.
What's up next?
Brother Bailey. Oh, no, that's the same one we just did. I apologize.
He wasn't happy with the answer. He wants us to answer it.
With the answer.
But we've actually done both in ours. Yeah, like we've done we've gone back and forth. And a lot of ours, like even our analytics now, most people join, they've figured it out. They join like the last song before the message. And then after the message, the way we do response, it just plummets, like our viewers. But my feedback to leadership would be, what's the vision on why? Like, what are we not happy about? Is it a quality thing? And we're saying like, hey, we're not, we don't feel like the worship's at the quality that we want it. Do you feel like people aren't watching because they have to scrub through worship, which I don't think that's probably the scenario. And I would challenge you to dig into that and figure that out and say, okay, is that true? And if so, how can we engage people watching, more during worship? How can we make worship more engaging, more enjoyable to be a part of? And if it's not true, it's just like questioning. I mean, we do the same thing. We trim it after. It's like our post, Monday, ours lives live on demand after our last service. So after 11:15 service, you can watch the whole thing all day on Sunday until around Monday at noon, I think is when we repost it. And when we repost it, we don't have worship. And that's just because I think when it's not live on Sunday, you're not watching it live. Then there is that, and most people at that point are trying to go back and either hear something they heard yesterday that they want to really dig in on and meditate on, or they couldn't watch and they're just there to hear the sermon.
Sure.
And then we take our worship, and we're building this up right now, but we take all of that front half and cut it, and we keep our songs and put it in a worship playlist, because a lot of people consume worship on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
YouTube's at one point, I think it was the #1 way people actually consumed music, which sounds crazy because Spotify and Apple are so big. But I think when you look at the whole world and how their access and everything, but I know it's way up there if it's not #1. So we're still trying to capture that worship and put it in a place that if you're just driving in on Monday and you just want to hear it in the background or anything like that, you've got access to it.
That's brilliant.
We've
That's a
gone
great thought.
back
Love
and forth
that.
on both of that.
Okay.
So,
very cool.
Sorry,
Okay.
I didn't mean to
No, that's
jump us
great.
out.
No, that's great.
You gave me a chance to actually get lined up and actually throw up the right question. So we've got a question for Brother Derringer. He says, do you experience any tension between the needs of your in-room experience and the needs of your online experience? I think the biggest question I would have is going to the next part. Could be from lighting, audio, video, or programming perspectives.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's not tension that is not like a massive war against one another in that, but there's a sacrifice to the in-room experience to make the online experience great, and vice versa. And that's in all of those aspects, in lighting, audio, and video. You have to, cut IMAG different slightly. Like we were talking about earlier, we do a little bit different. If you're really going in, if you're not double cutting, you're really cutting it differently. Same with audio. If you don't have a separate web mix, it kind of comes down to your limitations. But even if you do, that is resources that you are spending. So there is a tension there. But again, I think, what we're finding is the front door to your church. So it's worth like wrestling those tensions down and really figuring out what Lord's called your church to do and where you want to put that resource at. And then when you land on that, figuring out, okay, now how do we do it? How do we execute it? I mean, even in lighting, our broadcast campus gets a significantly more amount of key lighting and just coverage in general in the room that our other campuses don't. And then there's the tension of how do you show people who are worshiping in the room without invading on their privacy and taking it away. It's so distracting to see yourself on the screens, right? Which is one thing that we're always going to do reverse shots. Like we're not going to get up in someone's grill when they're worshiping, or even like walking a camera towards them. And we had to train our camera operator, especially when we get a young one on the gimbal, and they're just like doing laps, like running around the auditorium. And it's like, hey man, we can't be moving so much that we are creating a distraction for the people in the room. And yes, we want to get that. We want to be intentional, but that means that we have to put that much more intentionality from our directors and our camera operators into the preparation to say, okay, where am I going to do this at? How am I going to get to this place? And that might feel weird because you might stand there for half a song, but it's like, that's where you need to be to take the shot that's going to make the impact without causing a distraction. So there's all those minute things that you're going to wrestle with and you're going to, figure out as you go. But that's the whole fun, and it's like figuring it out. It's taking the feedback, and just ask all the time. Like we are just constantly, I'll just pick random people and say, hey, did you feel like anything today was distracting to you? Like, did you feel like, this was bothersome? And then be the overseer. You're the production director or technical director or whatever, and help your video director understand that, because they're not in the room. So they may not, we all know it looks different through a lens versus when you're in the room. So you have to know, okay, he's got the 70 to 200. So even though it looks like he's right behind them, he's not. Or like, hey, they're running around with a 35, millimeter stock lens, and that hand is 2 feet from the camera. Like that's a problem, right? Like you feel the hovering behind them. So just teaching that and working in that I think is attention. But I think it's worth the tension.
For sure.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
You guys don't have any tensions at Northstar, I'm sure.
No,
you don't have to balance any of that.
No, so everything that he said, I agree 100% with. I had that exact conversation with a new camera op on Sunday. I was handheld is one of the positions that is like, you're new, we're going to put you on a handheld camera. Yep. And our college intern approached me a couple weeks ago, said he wanted to help out on Sundays. I was like, yeah, come on, let's do it. And so didn't get any chance during the week to train with him. And it was Sunday morning right after our production meeting. Here's this camera. This is how it works. Here's a few shots. Here's your zone. And be very intentional about not pointing it at that front row, because you don't want those people to see themselves and to feel scared or, caught off guard.
Right.
And I was very intentional about exactly what you said. It's like, we want to, going back to what I said earlier about making someone at home feel like they're there.
Right.
They're going to be sitting behind people with their hands raised. So what do we show? We show people with their hands raised from behind them. So
love that. That's great. That's great. Cool. Well, Daryl, we've got another question stacked up over there, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and throw this one out. This is kind of recapping, but it's in the same vein. Jonathan asked, Ryan, you mentioned you started with a double cut and since have gone back to a single cut. What drove that decision? Just maybe unpack that a little bit for him.
Yeah, so really it kind of died out right before COVID, which was kind of unfortunate because it was right before COVID. But the decision primarily was based out of just not having the volunteers to run it well. and not feeling like we could steward it and like staff it. And it was just becoming too much. And it was creating what I would say the unhealthy tension in our teams. And like, our staff was just grinding to find people to cover those positions, and it wasn't really working. And we kind of started evaluating and saying, okay, well, what are we gaining from this? Can we do it the other way? I mean, we tried a bunch of different things, but ultimately we landed on hey, we need to take a step back. We need to accept where we are. We need to get better. We need to grow up our volunteer teams, and we need to take a step back. And I would say that, our goal, I think, in the next couple of years would be to get back to some caliber of double cutting. I don't know if we feel the need at this point to go back to a full double studio. I mean, we ran just like a bee control. I mean, it was a complete system. It was probably 6 volunteers that was running it. But even down to our camera positions, right? Like, we were in a season that we had a lot of volunteer turnover, and we were working on how do we, stop that, care for people well. But in the same regard, we have new people coming in, and it's hard enough to learn how to have one person in your ear and work with worship. It's even harder to have 2 and then have the directors fighting over each other. And, just a lot of that. And we were slimming up as a staff. Like, we had some things that we needed to get better at from stewardship standpoint. So that really drove it. And as things happen, now that room is taken over by another team. So even if we wanted to go back, it's going to be, we're going to have to get creative.
Got to find the real estate again to do it in. Yeah, right. For sure. Awesome.
Yeah, I'd say that too. We've never done a second cut.
Right.
We've always I've had the ability to do a second cut, but it is a significant layer of complexity with volunteers they don't do it on a daily basis, right? So just like you said, like asking someone new to learn that, it's just gonna amplify your lead up time on how long you can get that person ready. But going back to the Stream Deck question, you could utilize things like Stream Decks or in a multi-ME switcher or substitutions in a raw switcher to facilitate some of those things that they may be, whatever caused that question to come up. You can utilize those tools in some sort of automation to maybe correct what you're seeing. So,
well, double cut's uniquely challenging because you've got 2 directors, you've got 1 set of cameras you're playing with, though, and again, for a volunteer camera op to have 2 directors, 1 in each ear, right? It's got to be just mind-numbing to try.
Yeah,
let alone to listen to 1 calling shots all the time,
right?
But to have 2 in your ears, and then the 2 directors have to be playing nice because, well, yeah, I really wanted camera 6, but they just, their shot just went cold in the room and they're moving, but I really like that shot for the stream. So yeah,
we've made the conscious decision to just allow the room IMAG to be what it is, and it's the same cut that goes to online.
Sure. Yeah.
And we live with the wide shots that go to the IMAG screens.
Yeah.
Have I ever had someone come up and tell me that why is there a wide shot on the screen? Not one time.
Nobody's ever asked.
No one's
right?
ever asked.
Right.
So
yeah. It's like everybody's this tall on the screen, but we notice that.
And
we look at that.
And when we go to the message, it's cut tight for IMAG. Like that's what it's there for. But,
sure.
And we still we're going to double cut our youth camp. Like there's still spaces that we double cut. So I think a lot of it's boiling down to we're choosing where's the best place to stretch and use that resource. So we may double cut Easter and Christmas when we know that we have a bigger group of people watching, or there's a lot of people in our congregation who are out of town but want to see it still. For our youth camp, it's for our youth, but a lot of parents want to watch. A lot of people couldn't go. We have a we may have a wait list, and there's students who couldn't go, but they still want to be a part of it. So we'll put a lot of intentionality there, and that's where we really flex the most in trying to fully leverage the room and leverage online. But it's a lot. It's different graphics for your team to build if you want to do it. It's a lot. You're talking about the directors. We had to go through where at one point we were just assigning you always get this camera. Because we were just trying to simplify.
Yeah.
But then we were running 15 cameras, and we were back to the distraction standpoint, right?
Gosh,
it was because it was just crazy. And so when we do double cut, we do lean a lot on POVs, just for we don't run POVs typically, But on seasons or spaces that we're going to double cut, we do set them back up, PTZs, POVs that we can just kind of lock in for both people to jump off of those things. And then we just put a lot on, having a shot list, saying, okay, great, this is where you're going to be here, so where you're going to go there, and really dialing in with our camera operators. But I think we can do that because we're not doing it every week.
Right. It's just for those one-offs or the special events kind of things like you mentioned. That's great. Super cool. Awesome. Well, we are rolling up on the top of the hour. I'm good to keep going if you guys are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep rolling. I think we still have some questions stacked up over there, Daryl. So, but before we get into that next stack of questions, Daryl and I have the huge honor to get to work for an amazing organization called Chauvet Lighting. And Daryl, you want to share a little bit more about Chauvet?
I do. And before I do, Bethany and Camry, Felicia, we see you. Your questions are coming up after this break, so hang in there with us, okay? As Chris said, we are very honored and blessed to be able to work with an organization like Chauvet. Albert Chauvet and the entire team enables Chris and I to be able to do what we do and help facilitate Thought Leader and all the things we do. This event, the online platform, the mentor circles, all of those things are because of the heart and the desire to want to invest back in the worship production community. So our team, yes, we manufacture lights and control and power. And we love that. We love technology. That's kind of our space, the tool that we like to throw out to put into your toolboxes. And our friends, family down in Florida, they've been working really hard on some new products. And there's a couple of them that Chris and I picked out that we thought you might want to take a look at. So with that, go ahead and roll the package there, Neil.
My name is Jack Dorward, and I'm a freelance lighting designer and programmer. The capabilities of this fixture allow you to design in quite a few different ways, whether it's vertically, horizontally, at an angle. You just get some really cool looks. I wanted to kind of showcase the capabilities of the fixture in different genres. So whether that be EDM or rap or pop or worship, looking at all those different genres and trying to showcase a look for each during the show is kind of the idea. This was the easiest color palette I've ever had to build. It took me maybe 15 minutes to get through my whole palette. Every saturated hue, adding a bit of white into each one, like the same amount, created just really, really consistent colors. I was really pleasantly surprised by how fast these fixtures were. The pan and tilt motors were incredibly fast. The zoom motor's super fast. I was thrilled with the speed of these. The added feature of them being able to both pan and tilt is awesome. You can, spread your stage out even more. with the big wall of light can make really cool fans, and it just adds a lot of depth to the amount of positions you can use or make. And they can be used as a wash light with the single ones, or a big wall of wavy, cool, curvy light. I think these fixtures being IP65 rated is obviously very helpful. The big difference between the Curve 12 and the 5 and the 1 is the addition of the strobe options. So you have the cold white strobe pixels and the warm white. So having that warm white option was really, really great. We were programming in advanced mode, so it was 4 on top, 4 on bottom of each, cold and warm, and it just made it super interesting to fill those little gaps in the song where you needed something to happen, but you were maybe marking the beam section to do something different. It's almost like you have 3 fixtures in one. We wanted to showcase the 5s and the 1s separately, kind of spread apart. In a real life situation on a big stage, or a stage where you have a bunch of corners, you're trying to line the stage with 5s and get some huge looks. You always run into that corner gap or like small space that you need to fill, and the 1s can just fit right in those gaps. Using the Curve 12 and the Curve 1 and 5 together, I think will be really cool for people to experiment with and mess around with some design options. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what people do with these fixtures, and I hope the show kind of showcases some of those capabilities.
Hey everybody, Brad Haynes, Senior Product Development Manager here at Showbay Professional, and today we're going to talk about the new Colorado Solo Edge series. On most shows, the hardest place to light isn't the back of the stage, it's the front. That's where artists walk towards the crowd, where hats throw shadows, where cameras get close, and where lighting problems show up immediately. That's the space the Colorado Solo Edge was built for. Colorado Solo Edge is a dedicated touring footlight, available in a full meter length or a compact half meter, designed specifically to live on the stage edge. These live where boots, water, and real life happen. They're IP65, touring ready, and meant to stay on the front line night after night. When a performer steps forward, the face has to look natural every time. No hot spots, no color shift, no harsh shadows from brim or mic. Colorado Solo Edge features the same RGB warm white and lime color mixing engine with a single source lens found in our other Colorado Solo units. So what you see is a completely homogenized output and totally smooth looks across the entire line. So you're getting the highest quality of light, high TM30, extremely high CRI, all from a homogenized lens. You get warm tungsten looks for country, clean whites for broadcast, saturated color when the moment calls for it, but it always feels like real light on real skin. And just as important, when it's off, it disappears. A built-in stealth filter darkens the lens and the face of the fixture, so instead of seeing reflective glass across the front of the stage, you see almost nothing at all. On camera or in theater, it blends straight into the background. It's all very low profile, goes so far as including the ability to open the top and use that as a space for your cables. So in the front of your stage, your runway, whatever you're doing, all of your power cables, all of your data cables are completely hidden. Not only that, but your display is also under the hood, so you don't have to worry about annoying anything with light. When the fixture is off, it can just disappear. From the audience, there's no visible hardware, just the performance. We've also added DMX-controlled RGB markers, lights for cueing talent and marking the stage edge. So leave them red, switch them to green, and performers know it's their moment. Subtle, practical, and only visible to the people that need it. The stage edge is where the connection happens. Colorado Solo Edge just makes sure nothing gets in the way of any of that. And that's a new look at the Colorado Solo Edge series. High quality of light, meant to line the edge of the stage and really focus on what's important, the performance.
All right, so if you saw anything there that you thought was pretty cool and might be a solution to a problem that you're having, reach out to us. Check out our website at showbayprofessional.com. You can reach out to Chris or myself as well. But again, major shout out to Albert Chauvet and the entire team for supporting what we do here at Thought Leader and allowing us the opportunity to continue to do this and invest in you. And so with that, guys, Bethany, Camry, get ready. Your questions are coming up. So here they are. I promise you that.
Here we go.
I think, Ryan, you might know this one. Bethany asks, production can be high stress. How do you cultivate and keep a healthy team culture amongst your staff and volunteer teams?
Ooh,
that's a good one. Or how do you deal with an unhealthy culture?
I guess the screaming and throwing stuff is not the answer here.
Right.
That's a really great question. So how do we keep a healthy team culture in high stress environments?
One of the first things I tell new volunteers is zero pressure from me if you mess up.
Mm-hmm.
We're not here to be perfect. We push at our teams our people at our church are pushed to serve. We want you to get plugged in to serve, because if you're going to serve, you're going to get connected with other people. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a higher chance of just being a part of the church and being the life of the church if you're serving with a team. So there's zero pressure for me if there's a problem. And I've got volunteers that they beat themselves to death. But it's like, I'm the first one to say, dude, it's not a big deal.
Right.
So we prioritize them being there over executing perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I'd say.
That's great. I think the way that we've gotten the most or built the healthiest culture is creating fun environments outside of production.
Okay.
So, building summer cookouts and going bowling with it. Like, we have 2 group me's. We use that to communicate. One's called the fun production group me, and one of them's like, all right, we're locked in on a Sunday.
This is actual work stuff.
Right. And it's like, they make sure we wish all of our volunteers happy birthday in that group me, so that everybody gets to celebrate and see that together. And then also just a healthy rotation, right? Like, when you're got one volunteer who's coming in every single week, that's not great. It's also not great when they're serving once a month, because then you're costing their development. They're starting to think, am I actually needed? Like, a volunteer wants to serve the Lord, but they also want to feel like they're contributing. Right. And when you're not giving them enough time on the schedule or something like that, they can fall into this trap that, I'm not needed, or I'm not actually, contributing to anything. And then, it boils down to pastoring. Like, at the heart of what we do, we're pastoring people. Mm-hmm. And praying for them, highlighting them, celebrating them. We do celebration huddles in between our services. So after the 9:15, we're going to huddle together. We may say 1 or 2 things that we need to, like, if something tragic happened that we need to look at. But for the most part, we're celebrating. Hey, I love that shot you did, Kyle. Oh, hey, Jeff, I love how you're cutting today. Little spaces like that you can just build this excitement to be a part of the team. And you're building this culture that says, church should be fun. Like, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. And we say that all the time. Like, hey, if you're not having fun, we need to sit down and talk. We got to figure out why. Because we want to balance. We want to balance excellence in our execution in our gatherings. We also want to balance excellence in our culture and say, hey, how was your team today? How did they feel? And then eval that on the back end. And we'll send out a survey. And all of our campuses do it a little different, but we'll send out a survey like quarterly and say, or yearly, I think is what we typically do. And it just asks them, hey, how did you feel shepherded and cared for this year? What do you wish we did that we didn't do? If you could do something, what would you do? And just get that feedback, because you get the buy-in from them. They feel like they're a part of the team. They're building it. And they also get seen, and they feel like they're seeing it. Because a lot of our teams are very large, and our volunteer teams, and it's easy when you're on a team of 60 to 80 people sometimes to feel like you're unseen. And then it's also easy when you're on a team of 6 to feel like you're just a tool being used, mm-hmm. and you're not actually serving. You're just like, oh, if I don't show up, this doesn't get done, or they just care for me to do this. But I also think in the same regard of, like, talking about celebration, people want to be called higher. They want to be coached up. They want to be challenged. They can get bored just as easily as they can get beat down. And it's balancing that, public praise, private critique, and just saying, hey, let's talk about this or let's eval this. And hopefully you've got team members who are wanting that and hungry for that. And it starts with you. It starts with your humility, you asking them, how can I get better? What am I doing that's not great? Or like, hey, I had this idea, bring them in, bring them in, see what it is. I know a lot of churches deal with recruiting volunteers and keeping them, and every time, and it sounds like just like low hanging fruit. But when we are in a season where we need volunteers, like when we were double cutting the web and we didn't have enough, we just pray for them to come and then steward them when they get there. And we invite our teams into that and say, hey, we need help. Who do you know that would love to come and serve? And you'd be amazed at one of our worship guys, we needed keys players. And our drummer was like, oh, I have a friend that I go to college with who plays keys, and now he's on staff. And they want to contribute and bring that in. And it's amazing. Yes, pray for the volunteers in your own time, but going and praying for them as a team, and don't rob someone of seeing the Lord come through on a prayer. Bring them into that and get them excited about it. And then they get to celebrate with you when they're like, hey, we're not going to serve every week. We're going to go to every other week because we have 10 new volunteers here.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's great. I love that. So I think creating a safe space, a space where it's safe to make a mistake is huge.
Yeah.
Especially, we eat, breathe, live this stuff every day. Our folks who are serving on the weekends are doing it once a month, a couple times a month, but they have jobs outside of the church or things they're doing outside of the church. And for them to come in, this is their 2 to 4 hours a week that they get to do this thing. They're not going to, I mess up stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to expect one of my volunteers to be able to execute with absolute perfection, in their execution and precision, every weekend either. So
make people feel appreciated, make it fun, and affirm that it's for a higher work than what we're just not doing it for ourselves. Right. We're doing it for the Lord,
right?
And to lead people to Jesus,
right? Yeah. And you have to tell the volunteers sometimes, it's like, hey, look, I understand you missed the cut, you missed that cue, nobody got hurt, nobody died. It's fine. Just let it roll. It's not a big deal. There's something bigger going on here. So, well, Daryl, I know we've got another one stacked up over there, right?
Yeah. Excuse me, Will. You know a guy named Donnie Compton?
Yeah.
He got a message here for you. I wanted to,
thanks, Dad,
to share with you. So,
he's a ministry veteran, right, man? One of my heroes. So
that's awesome.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's cool.
The legacy part of that your father made it through church ministry and did it in such a great job that you were excited to enter the church. That is something to be proud of, excited about. For Donnie to just understand the value in that, and that's not common, man. And then
appreciate that.
To have your son now serving, it's a cool thing to see dad serving with their son, and you get to lead that charge, and he was doing ministry with it. Sorry,
that's really cool.
I did jump in and encourage you there.
Thank you, man.
That's great. That's great.
Okay. Wow. That is okay. Felicia Camry has a question. Sorry, I'm a family man, and so when I saw it, I was like, "Dang, I lost my dad a few years ago," and it's like to be able to have that comment. I had to share it with Will, but I didn't know what Ryan was going to say was going to get me like that, so I apologize. No,
don't apologize.
I don't apologize.
Don't apologize.
Okay, Felicia Camry, our girl in San Antonio, she asked the question, and I can't read this now because there's like hurricane water in my eyes, but let's see here. What's the one thing that you would never compromise on when it comes to your staff and volunteer team culture?
That is an excellent question.
It is an excellent question, and I've been holding on to this one for about 30 minutes to throw out here.
Camry, thank you for hanging around to get this one answered. We ask about what are the non-negotiables in production so many times, but it's usually not necessarily in this context. So what would you never compromise on when it comes to your staff and volunteer culture?
Appreciation.
Okay.
for them.
Okay.
So whether that's as simple as a note to just somebody who's learning something new and just giving them encouragement, or a team night, is always be thinking about ways to show that appreciation so that they know that they're valued.
Okay. Yeah, it's huge.
It's great. Praying for your people.
That'll preach.
Just the amount of times that we forget to pray for people by name is convicting. It's like, man, like how you don't know what they're going through, but you sure can go to war for them. And getting your people together and praying for them and building them up in a season that you have no idea of what they're going through, and they may not even share it to you yet. But just going and asking the Lord, like, hey, how can I pray for X volunteer today? And then, I think on the backside of that prayer, praying for them, depending on the situation, it's seeing the blessing come through. And it's like celebrating that together so that people don't forget what they're doing, and don't forget the God that we serve, and just how good he is, and how much he wants to bless our teams, how much he wants to create fun, and how much he loves his church. And people are literally building that. All right. Like our teams are helping build that, and just reminding them of that. And then the other thing I think I would say is I would never compromise constantly pushing vision. Why do we do what we do over and over and over and over and over again? Because where for you've said it 100 times, if they're serving every other week, they've heard it 50. It's like, it feels redundant, but it's the most powerful thing. If you don't have the vision, then what's the point, right? So just constantly pushing vision and constantly praying for your people, I would just think it's non-negotiable for me.
I can't think of a better way to wrap up this evening than with that right there. Guys, thank you so much for coming and doing this tonight. I've had a lot of fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. For those of you who've been joining us online, I hope that this has been a great time for you as well, and you found some value in this. We had a couple rock stars here with some amazing answers to your questions. So with that, I mean, I don't know what else to say. That's a great way to wrap up, I think, is to leave on that note tonight. So I want to say thank you to everyone who watched. I want to say thank you to everyone in the room. Will, thank you. Ryan, thank you. I want to say a huge thank you to Neil, Griffin, Emma, Daryl, Ford, everyone who's behind the scenes making this happen tonight for you as well. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight. Daryl, I'll toss it back to you.
All right. Thanks, Chris. For those of you that are watching live, check in the chat. Derek Robertson, if you're in the Nashville area, in Franklin, Tennessee tomorrow, he's doing a Bible study for people who are in the industry. You don't have to work at a church. You can be on a tour, but be in the Franklin area. So check that out. Look him up online. I don't, unfortunately, have the time, but the details, maybe Derek, go ahead and put that in the chat or something like that so people can check it out. But always want to make sure you have those opportunities to connect with people and just get into God's Word together. So I want to just say, as we close, that if you or you know someone who serve in worship production that want to build community, that want to connect with people outside of the four walls that you serve in every day, to share experiences, to share techniques, maybe even just to exhale a little bit together, come check out the website. It's free. The website is tl-connect.com, tl-connect.com. We have bi-weekly, basically small groups. We call them mentor circles, but small groups for people who serve in church production. So come check it out. Again, thank you to Albert Chauvet and our entire Chauvet family for helping make this possible. And with that, have a great evening, and thank you for being here with us, and may God bless you.